everyone to this evening yoga class. Whether or not you are joining me live or watching the replay, it is always an honor to be a part of your practice. Tonight, we are going to use a yoga strap and likely some blocks and maybe a bolster or a cushion. You could get some blankets, just get some extra props just in case we need them. So if you're watching the replay, go ahead, put it on pause, get everything that you need, and come on back. And if you are joining me live, let's go right ahead and close our eyes. Now, if you would prefer to lie back initially, feeling free to perhaps take a blanket underneath the head or that bolster underneath the length of your spine to have a little bit of added support. And then when you feel comfortable, just close the eyes. Take a couple cleansing breaths, inhaling through your nose and exhaling out your mouth. And beginning to let some of that tension that we carry through thought, through emotion, through sensation, just to begin to slowly fade away. See if you can begin to invite your body to relax. So letting the shoulders soften. If you're seated, the crown of the head is lengthening toward the sky as you gain a little bit more space from the base of the body, lifting up and using a little bit of engagement through your core to help you stay tall. And we'll begin to become aware of our breath. So becoming these observers at the beginning of our practice so that we can notice where we begin. When we notice where we begin, we can also notice how we finish and then gauge the changes that we've cultivated within ourselves. So this process of observation before, during, and after our practice, so imperative to really understand the importance and the benefits that we receive from coming to our mats. And so notice the breath moving in your body. Maybe the breath is a little bit shallow tonight. Maybe it's a little bit quicker. Or perhaps you are nice and calm and have a nice, slow, lengthened breath naturally. And wherever you are, there's neither good nor bad. There's no judgment to be had. It's really just noticing and honoring where you are right now. And as we let the physical body soften, we'll begin to deepen the breath in our bodies. Taking the breath in through the nose and down the center of the body toward the base of the spine, the root, the pelvic floor, the deepest spot inside of you. And then as you exhale, you can either imagine or follow the breath back up and out through your nose. And as you breathe, see if you can notice the breath move in just below the nostrils. Notice that breath on that skin and moving up the nose. And then as you breathe out, see if you can bring your awareness to that area as well, maybe feeling the warm breath leave your body. And it's through cultivating connection with these finer sensations in our body that we can really begin to go deeper inside of ourselves. So while we intend the breath to go deep, we may not exactly feel the physical presence of the breath. And that's okay. Notice if your breath is a little bit jagged as we begin, a little bit choppy, or if it's nice and smooth. And any areas that feel a little tighter as you move the breath in, see if you can invite some softness in. So some relaxation into your body in order to accommodate more breath, more prana, more life force energy inside this evening. Notice if there's thought going on, distracting you, drawing you away, and see if you can keep bringing yourself back to that anchor of the breath. The breath is with us 24/7, and it becomes this tool that we all have to connect with ourselves in the present moment. And it's from this space when we are experiencing turmoil in our lives that we can then draw ourselves inward to connect, to ground, to center ourselves in order to perhaps be less reactive and more observational in those challenging moments that we have. And this takes practice. And so, this is why each time the mind wanders, we just gently bring it back. There's no scolding, it's just honoring that we've wandered away and bring ourselves back to our breath in the moment. And I'd like you to ask yourself now, how am I feeling? And be honest with yourself. Sometimes we judge ourselves based on how we feel. I shouldn't be feeling this way, or I don't like feeling this way, and that's okay. But in order for any emotion to pass, we must meet it with acceptance. So we must recognize how we're feeling, and then we are able to honor and process what we're feeling in order to move through it and release it. So, whatever you're feeling, I will invite you to take that breath and breathe into that emotion. For some of us, it may not be emotion, it may be sensation that begins to come up in your body. So, go ahead and take your breath and breathe into the sensation. There are two things that we humans fear: physical and emotional pain. And in my journey, I have come to realize that for me, feeling physical and emotional pain have actually been the key to healing myself. So notice if that resonates for you. We're going to take a few more moments just to breathe into whatever your experience is, please. With complete surrender, acceptance, just allowing yourself to be exactly as you are, not trying to change it, just being with it, whatever that may be. And I'll invite you to take 3 more breaths. So if you'd like to deepen them into the body and exhale out the mouth and use cleansing breaths as a tool to move some of that emotion or sensation through you, feel free. Then I'd like you to perhaps consider bringing a hand on your heart space, center of your chest, as we come to find an intention for our practice this evening. And so I'd like you to ask yourself, what does liberation mean to me? Because for each of us, it's going to be different. And the quote that I have for you tonight reads, "Freedom cannot be bestowed, it must be achieved." So I ask you, if it resonates, to ask yourself, where in my life am I looking to create liberation or freedom? Is it liberating yourself from a thought pattern, from an emotional loop or emotional pattern, from a behavior, from an experience, or something else? And then I want you to imagine now how it would feel to be free of that. And some of us are more visual, so maybe it will be imagining a picture, and kinesthetics, like me who are feelers, we're going to feel that in our bodies. What does it feel like to be free? Or maybe there's a sense of knowing, just knowing what freedom from that would feel like in your bodies. And just take a moment there to connect with that without expectation, just embracing your experience. And we'll take one inhale breath and one exhale breath. Beautiful. So, remaining as you are, we're going to begin to bring some gentle movement into the body. I'd like you to take your time. If you are lying back, you can begin to bring that movement into your body from there. Or if you are seated, finding some gentle movements from where you are. And let's see if we can begin just with some gentle movement in through the head and the neck. Maybe the chin is dropping if you're seated, and your head is coming gently from side to side as you let those shoulders soften down. If you're lying back, the head is perhaps gently moving from side to side on the earth. Maybe that movement begins to ripple into the shoulders a little bit, just lifting the shoulders up and lowering them down. Maybe you begin to tilt through the pelvis a little bit, whether you are seated or reclined. Just bringing some movement into the spine gently. And then eventually let that movement ripple down the legs. Maybe the knees are bending and you're pointing and flexing the toes or straightening the legs and just finding a little bit of movement there, rolling the ankles and maybe the wrists. And then if you are if you are reclined, I'm going to ask you to stay there. And if you're seated, let's go ahead and come right back and grab your yoga strap to begin the practice tonight. So we're going to use our yoga straps to open up into the hips right away. So let's just have those nearby. Please stack your knees over top of your hips now and take your hands down by your sides. You can even slide them a little bit underneath the hips. I want you to keep your core strong, flex your feet, and just begin to slowly circle the knees on the sky. And I would like you to pay particular attention to the massage that you are creating in the back of the body. So play with that a little bit as you take your knees away, your core remains strong, and you find that that massage moves down the spine. As you draw your knees in, core strong, it's going to move up the spine a little bit more. You'll likely feel heat coming into your body fairly quickly. And then let's gradually move to the opposite direction, feeling free to extend the legs a little bit more. Just noticing, what does my body need right now as we begin with some gentle movement. Beautiful. From here, let's take the toes to the earth. Let's roll back, taking the tops of the hands to the earth so that we can come into cactus arms. Heel toe your feet out wide on your mat, about mat width apart. And let's begin to let the knees fall from side to side in a windshield wiper. Maybe you'll feel a little bit of release through the spine right off the bat, and you might even want to take your head from side to side. So option, if you wish, to gaze in the opposite direction of your knees, just making sure that's okay for your head, please. Sometimes if the neck is a little bit tight, you'll want to keep your gaze up to the sky or in the same direction as your legs. And if it feels good to hold in for a couple of breaths. You could always take one of your yoga blocks if you wanted and put it underneath your bottom knee or even in between the thighs for a little bit of support. Or even your bolster or a cushion or blanket underneath that bottom knee if you need it. We're going to take 2 breaths here, please. To see if you can melt the upper body into the earth. Last one. We're going to slowly inhale back to center. And let's let the knees fall into the opposite direction, please. Once again, melting the upper body back. Pressing gently those shoulders back so you can feel a little opening across the heart space as that inner right thigh softens down to the earth. Take one more breath, please. Beautiful. Let's inhale back to neutral. We're going to keep the left leg bent. Find your yoga strap. And depending on how long it is, you can either make a loop or just take the strap and strap beneath the toes so that you're on the ball of the foot, extending that right leg up to the sky. Okay, make sure that your core is strong and engaged. You might take that left hand down to the earth. Okay, if you'd like a little bit more, you could slide the left leg straight. Please make sure that if that left leg is straight, it's pressing down firmly into the earth. And the same thing if it's bent, the foot is pressing down so that we're keeping everything engaged and protected with muscular strength. We're going to begin to circle that leg on the sky. And I would like you to see if you can keep that right hip and leg very soft. So you're actually using the strength of your arm. I'm not actually moving my leg. What's happening here is I'm using my arm to create that movement, and this is how we're going to find more space in our hips. And then go ahead and find the opposite direction, please, that circle. And notice if your circles are large or small, and just honoring whatever feels best for your body today. Good, so from here, we're going to begin to find an external rotation. We're going to grab onto the strap with the right hand. The left hand can come right onto the front of the left hip if you wish, or keep it down to the side, just beside the left hip. We're going to try to keep that left hip on the earth as we move that right leg away from us, flexing the foot and opening wide. And as soon as that left hip wants to pop up, I want you to use the strength of your core to come back. So if you find that you're rolling over to the side, you're going a little bit too far. We want to try to keep that left hip on the earth. Keep pressing down through that left foot or left leg. And use the strength of your core to bring the leg back. We remain flexing and engaged in that right leg for the last 2. Last one. Beautiful. Coming back to center, we're going to switch hands. Actually, no, let's go ahead and hold out. So go ahead when you're ready and just find the fullest extension for you. And take 2 breaths here. Press your shoulders into the earth, scoop your belly in, keep pressing out that foot. Last breath, just feeling that nice opening in your inner thigh. Inhale back to center, and when you're ready, let's grab with the opposite hand, taking the right hand down to the earth. This is going to be a much smaller movement. We want to keep that right hip down on the earth. You're going to slowly draw that left leg across the midline of your body over to the left. And again, I don't want you to twist. I want that hip to stay on the earth. You're going to feel this likely in the outer hip and maybe up the IT band outside of the leg. This is an area for most of us that gets really tight. It's this dense band of connective tissue or fascial tissue. And fascial tissue doesn't stretch like muscle stretches. So we have to be really, really mindful with it. Fascial tissue or connective tissue is also the tissue that holds a lot of emotion in our body. One more time. And I'll invite you, if you would like to hold for a few breaths, hold for a few breaths, or continue to move. Shoulders back, heart open. Keep pressing through that right foot. Engage through the left leg. Taking one more breath. Finish your exhale. Use your core strength and the strength of your arm to bring you back to center. Beautiful. One more on this side. You're going to turn the toes away from you and you're going to come into a half happy baby. So we turn the toes away, getting an external rotation in the hip, and then we begin to pull down on the strap so that we're bending the knee in toward our shoulder. And then you can hold onto the strap or your foot or your ankle, however you like, as we let the shoulders press back to the earth and keep that left hip down. And we're going to take 3 big deep breaths here. Just breathing into your body. Whatever your experience is, you are exactly where you need to be. Last one, please. Okay, finish your exhale on the next inhale. Let's press that foot back up to the sky. Let's unbind the strap. Just slowly bring that right leg down by the left. And I'd like you to pause for a moment, maybe close your eyes. And I'd like you to notice. Can you notice any imbalance in the sides of your body? A lot of times one hip will feel very different than the other. Maybe the way that they're resting on the earth. You could take the toes in and the toes out a couple times if you wish. Beautiful. And then as you're ready, we're going to go ahead. We're going to even things out in the other side of our body. So option to bend the right knee as you take and strap just below those left toes. So on the ball of the foot, making sure you're not on the arch or you're going to likely cause some cramping, and not on the toes, just right on the ball of the foot. Lengthening that leg up to the sky and pressing through the heel so that we're engaging through the thighs. So the leg is engaged but not locked. Option to slide the right foot forward or keep the leg bent. And we're going to begin with those circles. So maybe you can close your eyes and just let those circles gently bring you a little bit deeper into the left hip. The core is engaged a little bit to support you. We want to keep that spine supported, so that's why we keep that gentle engagement in the core with these types of practices. We'll take one more circle here. And then let's go ahead and find that circle in the other direction, please. Maybe your circles are small to begin with and they grow a little larger. Just honoring your body tonight or whenever you're doing this practice. One more circle. And then as you're ready, Core is engaged. We're going to go ahead and begin to rotate that leg outward, keeping that right hip down on the earth. As we inhale, we come back toward the center. Taking your time, very slowly, using the strength of your core to keep you stable, opening the leg away, keeping that hip down, and then bringing yourself back to neutral. Good, feel free to close the eyes if that's good for your body. Closing the eyes helps to bring your awareness inside a little bit deeper. So I always recommend, if you are not needing to watch, then just close your eyes and listen and feel. I'm going to do 2 more. And then you'll have the option to hold if you wish, holding in that rotation with that leg out. So if you'd like to hold on the next one, feel free to hold. If that's a little bit too much for today, just keep moving. Again, core is strong, right leg is engaged, left leg is pressing away. We'll take 2 more deep breaths. Shoulders back. Use your inhale to bring you back to neutral. Beautiful. Reaching across with the right hand now as we come to that rotation inward. Going ahead and maybe taking that left hand down by your side to support you. And then just gently bringing that left leg over to the right until you begin to feel that tug in the outer hip. And come back to neutral. So this is going to be a much smaller movement for most of us than the other one. And remember, if that left hip starts popping up, then you are not going to be targeting the outer hip. That's going to be more of a stretch into your spine. So right now we're trying to work with opening up the hips. The hips hold a lot of emotional tension. The hips actually tend to hold a lot of anger. So it can be very normal for some of these emotions to release either during the practice or to be felt during the practice or after the practice. So just honoring that. If anything comes up, if you'd like to hold, feel free to hold for a few breaths or keep moving. We're going to take 2 more breaths, please. Last one. Beautiful. Finish your exhale as you inhale, come back to neutral. Same hand now, left hand grabs the strap. Either keep the sole of the right foot on the earth or leg can be straight. Turn those left toes away from you. And then as you're ready, begin to bend the knee and draw that knee downward towards your body with the sole of the left foot intending to be parallel with the sky. It doesn't have to be there. And with that knee rotating outward, we're opening up a little bit more here into the groin area. If you can, flip your opposite palm to the sky, let your shoulders relax a little bit at the same time as keeping your navel engaged. It's a beautiful opportunity for just a little bit of gentle heart opening. I'm going to take 3 more breaths, please. Last one. Good. Firm up your tummy and slowly bring that leg back to neutral. We're going to release the yoga strap. Just set it off to the side. Please gently float that left leg down by the right. Pause there for a moment. Close your eyes, take 3 big deep breaths, and just notice. It might feel good to draw those knees in toward your chest. Circle a little bit, just as we did at the beginning. And then we're going to take our time. There's no rush. You may want to come over onto your side, use your bottom arm as a pillow as you come up, or slowly roll back and forth, whatever works best for you. We're going to make our way up through a seat and into a tabletop. So I'd like you to take your time. If you'd like a little bit of added support, bring a blanket perhaps for your knees. You could always have blocks nearby. And if you're not coming onto your knees today, we can do some of this either standing or seated in a chair with some nice cat-cows for your spine. So those of you who it's a little bit too much for your wrists to be on the floor, you could always be up onto blocks, or you could even come down onto forearms. And from here, let's spread our fingers as wide as we possibly can, the palms pressing down into the earth. And we'll begin to find that cat-cow, whether you're seated or on your hands and knees. Awareness comes to the base of the spine and you slowly begin to open. As you find space across the front of the body, lift the heart and gradually the crown to the sky. And then as you exhale, the tail begins to tuck under gently and slowly begin to round inward. And if you can close your eyes and just feel into that movement in your body a little bit. Just want you to explore that. And so for some of us, that more static cat-cow moving back and forth will be great. For some of us, we may want to add a little bit of extra movement. Maybe there's a side-to-side movement. Maybe there's a little bit of extra rounding through the shoulders or letting the head drop. Okay, let this become your expression of the movement, letting your body guide you. And so that's the beauty of the yoga practice. We often practice in a group, but the yoga practice is very individual and you are always your most intuitive guide. So if at any point something is not working for your body, we're listening to the messages of our bodies and honoring that. Good. So we'll come back to neutral now, and we're going to do a little bit to open up through the shoulders. So we're going to go ahead and move that outer hand, your left hand, inward. Actually, it'll probably be the opposite if we're mirroring. So maybe your right hand inward. And then we're going to go ahead and take the opposite arm and reach it up to the sky. So if you're on a chair, you could thread across the heart. And on the floor, you're going to go ahead and thread underneath, letting the shoulder come gently down toward the earth. I want you to scoop the belly in and slowly come up on the inhale, reach for the sky. And on the exhale, thread, shoulder comes down toward the earth, doesn't have to touch. Last two. Lift and lengthen, find space across the front and the back of the heart as you reach. And as you exhale, thread and soften down. This is the last one. We're going to hold if that's available to your body, lifting up to the sky. And as you exhale, you're going to come down to the earth. Now, if your shoulder and or head don't come down, grab a block, a pillow, a bolster, some kind of prop to support you there. And come all the way down. Now, if you were seated in the chair, you could be crossing across and reaching, okay? So we're going to take 2 more breaths here, maybe 3 more breaths. If you'd like to take that opposite arm, reach it to the sky or bend the elbow. Take the hand and gently place it at the base of the spine. You can do that as well. Just 1 more breath here, please. Let's gently take the hand down to the earth, engage through the core, press into the bottom hand and then reach for the sky. Good, and then I just want you to do 3 circles in each direction, feeling into that shoulder. Beautiful. As the hands come down, we're going to go ahead and sit back onto our heels, or sitting in a chair, or on your sits bones if that doesn't feel good for your body. We're going to go ahead and take that same arm that we were working on the first time, your left arm, and you're going to slowly wrap it around in behind you toward the opposite hip crease. We're going to draw that shoulder back gently. Then we're going to slowly take our head in the opposite direction and begin to circle, half circle our head. And then 3 circles in the back. And if you have more mobility in the neck, you can circle the head all the way around. I just like to be gentle with that. Good. From here, I'd like you to take and lift that opposite arm to the sky as you walk those fingertips up your back just a tiny bit. And then take and bend this top elbow and just rest your hand wherever it rests. And from here, I'd like you to press the back of the bottom hand into your spine and press the palm of the top hand into your spine as both shoulders rotate back gently. And take 3 big deep breaths into your bodies. Last breath, please. Beautiful. As you inhale next, slowly unbind those arms, bring them out to your shoulders height. Gently float the palms down. And we're going to come back onto the hands and knees or seated, depending on where you're beginning. From here, we are going to take and plant that outside hand inside and lift the opposite arm to the sky and slowly find that thread underneath, threading the needle, coming up and down. 2 more times, finding space across the back of the heart, and then threading across to increase that space between your shoulder blades. Last one, lift and lengthen. And then as you exhale, once again, coming down to the earth, taking the head onto a blanket, a block, a bolster, cushion, whatever is there, keep reaching away with those fingertips on the earth. Keep breathing into that space in between your shoulder blades, and maybe even lift that outside arm to the sky, or bend the elbow, take the hand to the base of the spine for those last 2 breaths. Last one, please. Beautiful. We're going to return that top hand to the earth. Slowly unthread. Reach to the sky and find those 3 circles in each direction, please. Beautiful. And then slowly bringing the hands down once again, we'll come to sit, either on our heels or cross-legged or on a chair. Take and thread that same arm that you've been using to thread the needle, that right arm likely this time, wrap it around by your opposite hip crease. And slowly begin to let the chin move downward. And now let's imagine maybe a pencil from the end of our nose. That's gently drawing like a half circle, half moon on the sky. As the head slowly comes forward and chin gently tucks. Keeping the shoulders down, the head lifts, and you create that arc. Just a couple more times. Good, last one, please. Beautiful. From here, go ahead and unbind that back arm. We're going to come through tabletop and into stand for a couple moments here, having your blocks nearby if you wish. Those can be really helpful for helping to transition. So as you come to stand, maybe you'll come into a forward fold, bending your knees gently, and letting the crown of the head soften down. Because I'm kind of stuffy tonight, I'm not going to go down all the way. Or you could also come into a flat back, so you could always dangle, let the upper body completely relax. You could stay in that 90-degree angle if that felt better. If it feels good to shift the hips from side to side or nod the head yes and no, please honor that. Taking maybe 3 or 4 breaths. This is a beautiful opportunity to let some of that weight of the world that we carry in our shoulders just soften all the way down, even letting those arms dangle or grabbing onto your elbows. We will take one more inhale breath and one more exhale breath. Good. As you inhale next, I'd like you to slowly walk your hands up the body, letting those vertebrae on your spine stack one at a time. So really coming up slowly and gently. Standing nice and tall here. Flipping your palms forward into Tadasana and mountain pose. Taking a big inhale breath. And a big exhale breath. Just letting it all go out your nose, out your mouth. And from here, we're going to inhale and lift the arms to the sky. So we're going to interlace our fingers into steeple hands so that our thumbs and our first fingers meet. And from here, we're going to press down and root into the feet and scoop our bellies back. When I say root into the feet, I'm talking about the four corners of your feet, so your inner and outer edges, front and back. So you may want to rotate a little bit just to find those. And once you have that strong connection, we're going to go ahead and open up the side waist. So keep reaching through the arms and then slowly come to the side. Use your core strength to bring you back to neutral. And as you exhale, other side. See if you can keep your heart forward. Inhale, lift. If you're a little tighter in the shoulders, bend the elbows more. Beautiful. So for this next one, I'm going to offer you the option to deepen it. If you would like to deepen it, you're going to take your left foot, you're going to bring it in behind so that you now have a cross in your legs. And you're squeezing together at the lower legs, and you're squeezing together at the upper legs. And now we're going to go ahead and take a lean away from that back leg as we root the four corners of the feet into the earth. If you'd like a little bit more tonight, go ahead and open up that bottom arm in alignment with the shoulder and reach through that top arm actively. Maybe you can take your gaze up to the sky, squeezing into the legs, taking 2 more deep breaths. Last one. Beautiful. As we inhale next, let's come up. Interlace the fingers once more. Let's slide that leg from in behind. You can shift your hips from side to side for a moment. And then rooting in through the first foot, you're going to slide the opposite leg and find that bind in behind. Now your feet don't have to be together. They can be apart. One can be forward a little bit, back a little bit, but you're really pressing the feet down and squeezing in through the legs. So the inhale, we find the length. And on the exhale, we come over to the side, away from that back leg. And let's take 3 breaths again, please. Pressing down through the legs, squeezing in through the legs, finding that length in the spine, side waist, feeling that breath moving through you. Taking 2 more breaths. Ribs expanding toward the sky and the side of the room. Beautiful. As you inhale next, come back up to center. As you exhale, slowly unbind the hands, bring them down by your sides, and slowly release the foot from in behind. I'd like you to slowly shift from side to side. You may want to take your hands onto your hips and just gently circle through the waist. Close your eyes as you do this and just feel, how is this feeling in my waist right now? So your first and second chakras are kind of down in this lower area. First, second, and third are all associated with our physical bodies. And for many of us, we are not balanced in these areas. And so in order for us to balance the entire energetic system in our bodies, everything begins at the root. So connecting to these areas, very, very important. And when we are moving our spine, we are moving energy through our bodies. So I'd like to come into a gentle balance pose tonight. We all have a wall nearby. And so you have the option to use a wall or the back of a chair, anything necessary that can help you, because balance tends to be one of the most difficult parts of practice for all age groups, from children all the way to elderly. So we're going to go ahead, because we've been working a little bit here with the hips, and move into a balancing pose that opens up the outer hip. So we're going to root in through your right foot. Spread your toes wide on your right foot. Find the four corners of your right foot and bend the knee a little bit. From here, you're going to slowly transfer the weight onto this right side. Perhaps take your arms out to your shoulder height in order to create a little bit of kind of stability for balance, or hand onto the wall as well. Begin to shift the weight into that balancing leg and lift the opposite leg up. You're going to open the knee away from you, flex the foot, and plant the ankle above or below that standing leg knee. Okay, not on the knee, please. From here, we're going to intend this knee to open a little bit as we open here through the thigh. And if you would like to increase sensation a little bit, we are going to begin to bend down. And this is where we get more into that outer left thigh. You have the option of bringing the hands into your heart space as you sink your bottom down, taking the weight toward the back of the foot, kind of the front of the heel in that back foot, or even lifting your arms up to the sky. And I'd like you to take 2 breaths. Last one, core strong. If you come out, take your time, come in. Good, and coming out just as important as coming in. So on the inhale, we come back up. We extend our arms. We slowly unbind the leg, bring the knee forward again, and bring the foot down to the earth. Close the eyes, flip the palms forward, open your heart, and take a couple breaths. So from here, I invite you to feel into your body. Notice if there are any movements that your body would like right now before we come to the other side. And it's important, especially when we're balancing, to release expectation, as both sides are often very, very different. We hold tension very asymmetrically in our bodies. So whatever happened on the first side, try to let that go, maybe take a big deep breath, because there is no doubt that this side will likely be very different. So we're going to spread the toes on the left foot now. This becomes your balancing leg. Begin to bend the knee gently, engage through the core, push the foot down. You can take the arms out for your stability, or take a hand or hands onto the wall. When you're ready, we begin to transfer the weight into the standing leg, lift the knee. Slowly open the knee away, flexing the foot, bind the ankle above or below that knee. Staying here, or if you wish, as we intend to rotate a little bit, that knee away from you, we come to sink down, scooping the belly in, taking the weight towards that heel. Good, and then option to take the hands into the heart space, keep the hands to the side, reach them to the sky. The deeper you sink, the deeper you will feel this in that outer hip and glute. We're going to take 2 more breaths, please, ladies. Whoever is practicing with me tonight or on the replay, last breath. Good, as you're ready, inhale, press into the balancing leg, open the arms. Slowly release the leg, knee comes back to center, bring it back down. Beautiful. Close the eyes, open your palms forward, feel into your bodies. Feel free to move if you like, maybe rolling the shoulders, circling the waist, just kind of feeling intuitively into your body. What does my body need right now? And from here, we're going to find one more standing posture, just bringing the energy down a little bit. We're going to find a block or blocks and position them in the center as we take our stance wide on our mat. So take your stance comfortably wide, please. You're going to find those four corners of the earth with your feet and inhale your arms to the sky. Good. Keeping a little micro bend in the knees, you're going to lengthen forward on the exhale. Take the hand or hands down to the blocks, coming into a flat back. Press your right hand in and lift your left arm up. And as you exhale, you're going to take that hand down and replace as you twist. And we're going to flow gently back and forth. Now you may find that you can take the block down or take the hand to the earth. And just slowly, side to side. Good, one more set. Last one. Beautiful. From here, if you have enough props to support you, you could stack props on top of each other, lengthen your crown forward and take your head onto those props, pressing in through the legs and letting the shoulders relax. If that doesn't feel accessible to you, or you don't have enough to be supported, your hands could be on the earth or on the blocks and just coming into that flat back. I'm just going to take one more breath here, so we won't be here long or feeling free to come up. And when you're ready, let's take our time pushing into our feet, scooping into our bellies, taking our arms out to the side and lifting to the sky. Hands all the way up. Bring the hands into the heart. Heel toe your feet in. Come to a final Tadasana or mountain pose, final standing posture of this evening. And let it be an active pose. Feel your feet connecting with the earth. Feel the strength in your legs. Feel the lift of your torso up and out of your waist. Feel the shoulders lengthen down, the space you've created between your shoulders and your ears as those fingertips reach toward the earth. And please take 2 full breaths into your bodies. Last one. If there are any final standing movements that you would like to find, please find them now. And then take a moment and we will meet on the earth to finish up our practice tonight. Beautiful work. So from here, let's have a block as a support with us. And we're going to come to lie back. And I would like you to take that block and you're going to walk your heels in towards your bottom a little bit. Your feet and your knees are hip width apart. And we're going to press into the feet, feel into the thighs engaging, press the shoulders back, and lift with some core strength to draw that block underneath as we lift our pelvis. So for some of us, that block will be on the lowest height setting. And it's being placed so that your sacrum, kind of that triangular bone area at the base of your spine, that flat ledge, can be supported fully. If you have a little bit more mobility in the spine, you may lift it to the second level of the block or use a firmer cushion, but please be mindful. There should be nothing pinching, shooting, stabbing. It should feel like you could just let all of your weight go. Now you have a couple of options from here. Make sure, please, that your shoulders are gently pressing back and there's no weight on your neck so that your head is neutral. From here, if you need a little bit more through the hip flexors tonight, you may consider straightening one leg forward. Pardon me. Or 2 legs forward. That's option A. Option B might be to stack one knee or both knees. This may be good. Or to lift the legs up to the sky. So, whatever your body needs tonight, I'm going to invite you to explore that for a few moments. See if you can return to a nice, slow, rhythmic breath. Just following the breath into your body and out of your body. If the legs are extended in the air, they're nice and soft. You could even open up into cactus arms. You could even extend your arms out into a T. Pardon me. Taking a few moments just to do nothing. Just to let the intuition of your body take over as you enjoy the benefits of this mild inversion. Head below the heart, very calming to the subtle energies of the body. Helps bring us into that parasympathetic state, that state of rest and digest, preparing us for relaxation, for sleep. Let's take about 5 more breaths there, please. To finish off that next exhale breath. And then as you're ready, the soles of the feet come back to the earth. Pause for a moment. Prepare to slowly lift the pelvis and slide that block out from beneath. As you bring the vertebra of the spine back down to the earth one at a time. Pardon me. And then take a moment to relax. It may feel good to take the legs from side to side a little bit, draw the knees in toward your chest a little bit, roll back and forth, or even roll side to side, just a little bit of massaging out for the spine and the sacrum. And then I'm going to invite you to draw your right knee in toward your chest. From that lying down position, right knee in toward the chest, reaching that left arm over to the outside of that right thigh, flexing both feet, and slowly bringing yourself into a nice reclined twist. Now the inner edge of the foot can come down to the earth. You could always use a prop underneath, say one of your blocks or your bolsters. And just open up wide if that feels good. Cactus arms, always a great option as well. And seeing if you can soften and surrender this top leg, top side of the waist, the front and back of your heart. And let the next several breaths each invite you deeper inside of yourself as we come to approach the close of your practice this evening. Notice if you're holding any tension in your face, your throat, or your jaw. We'll take 2 more breaths here, please. You'll finish off that breath, and as you feel ready, just engage through the core and slowly bring that knee back. You could draw it in toward your shoulder if you wish. You can roll it around a little bit. And then bring it back down to the earth. Excuse me. Opposite knee draws in toward your chest now. Taking your time, shoulders soften back, just drawing that knee in toward the shoulder. And then as you feel ready, opposite arm reaches to the outside of the thigh. And then come on into that recline twist. Taking your time, once again, using any necessary props beneath the top leg, just so that you can feel that gentle twist in your spine, but for it not to be too deep. So we're going to hold for a little bit. And just want to hold so that you can allow yourself to soften in as you become more still. Taking the breath to the sensation in your body. And letting the intuition of your breath and your body find space, perhaps that you didn't know you had inside of you. Going to take 5 more breaths here, please. Finish off your next exhale. And then just firm up your abdominals and slowly begin to come back to neutral. And once again, an opportunity for any final movements that feel good. So if you'd like to draw those knees in or roll, if you'd like to take a happy baby, taking the soles of the feet up to the sky and just rolling side to side. If there are any other postures that would feel good for you, I invite you to find those now. If you would like to recline into a supported Savasana to finish up your practice tonight, you could always take blocks, blankets, cushions underneath your knees. We've worked into those hips today and inner thighs, and you could come into that diamond shape if you wish. You could always extend the legs long and even take a block or a support underneath each thigh, or a cushion underneath the knees. You could use a rolled blanket underneath your head, or a nice gentle heart opener as we finish up. Could even be a rolled blanket or beneath the shoulders and some support for the head. Just rolling the blanket up into a little bit of a thicker roll. And then positioning your shoulders, shoulder blades, just so the roll comes just to the armpits. And then you open the arms wide. It's just a little bit of extra lift for the heart. So wherever you are, I encourage you to find some stillness and to close your eyes and to maybe explore a few cleansing breaths, inhaling through your nose and exhaling out your mouth. I invite you to reconnect with that natural rhythm of your breath. This can be helpful as we come into stillness and silence, just to give the mind something to focus on. Or for some of you, you will find complete surrender in your bodies. And the opportunity just to be present. So soften in the head, the face, the jaw, the shoulders, the back of the heart, length of the spine, the arms, soften in through the pelvis, down the legs, letting the feet relax, and just giving yourself permission to be here as you are for as long as you can. So whether you are here with me live or watching the replay, I encourage you to spend as much time here in stillness as you have available. The more the better. I'm going to close out the practice. As we return to the quote that we began with, perhaps you wish to return to your intention. Freedom cannot be bestowed. It must be achieved.